Hi everybody, it's Lexie. So, in keeping with the tradition of my previous video, I decided that I wanted to do kind of an intimate journal sort of thing. So a little bit, I'm going to be reading something that I wrote, but before I did, I kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit. This is kind of surreal for me because 5 minutes ago, I just recorded the video that I made about my 2 years, and this is a little different than that one, and it's definitely crazy to me. And in all honesty, the two incidents didn't happen that far apart. I always made it a point, at least tried really hard, to be really honest with you guys. I know that my story belongs to a lot of you, with my struggles with self-injury especially, and I know it's tough to find someone who has your story and only hearing the good parts, and wishing that you could know if they have the bad parts too. And I want you guys to know that I do. I mean, I've been able to celebrate 2 years, and words cannot say how excited I am and how proud I am, but it didn't come without struggle, and it didn't come without really, really rough nights and really hard days. So I want to share that with you guys, and before I do, I want you guys to understand that it's okay to have bad days. Just because I was on TV and I have this amazing support group that comes once in a lifetime, to be honest, it doesn't mean that I don't have the hard times and that it's all of a sudden solved and this is magical issue that I dealt with for over 3 years of my life is just gone. So I wanted you guys to know that, and I wanted you guys to understand that. And so this is probably one of the tougher things that I've shared, and mainly because it's one of the first times that I realized that I'm not perfect, and I don't have to be. And while it's really easy to write that and really easy to say that, sometimes it's really hard to live that. So this is my way of trying to help me live it. So this is a note, I guess, from Facebook that I wrote a couple days ago, and it happened a couple days ago. And so for those of you who haven't read it, I want to share it with you, and for those of you who have read it, I wanted to make sure that my emotion was in it, because it's really easy to read things and kind of take them the wrong way, or to take them in a different way than I meant them. So, without further ado, this is probably one of the harder things I wrote, so it may take me a little struggle to get through it, but I definitely wanted to share it with you guys. So, here it goes. I was up late, and I looked down at my leg like I had 1,000 times before, and I ever so gently traced the fading letters. Fail. I hadn't paid much attention to them in the past, seeing that to the naked eye they had become increasingly invisible. Unlike the letters on my leg, the feelings inside were not fading. I was overwhelmed with a sudden feeling, and before I knew it, those inward feelings were sneaking their way outwards in the form of tears. Before I knew it, they were falling faster, and the floodgate I had so diligently held together was breaking, and I was useless in stopping it. Where did this come from? Why now? Why crying? The answer is quite simple. I finally had to stop hiding behind my scars. I realize now that these scars are my own version of a prison. As long as I have an outward reminder of how I'm feeling inside, I'm safe. I don't have to express it any other way. And in many ways, I got to take the easy route. But now that they are faded to the point that the only way they are seen is when I bring them to life. Once again remembering who I was and what they symbolized. The feeling of being a failure. Not only because that's what I told myself each time I renewed their life, but because with each cut I was validating those feelings and making what I thought to be an ever-constant reminder of yet one more mistake. But now that they have faded, I have started to move on from that girl I used to know. I find myself crying in the bathroom and unable to look at the girl staring back at me. This girl should be over the desire to prolong their residence on my leg. This girl should be rejoicing that their voice is that much weaker. But instead, I find myself faced with a simple question. Why does it bring me to tears to see them fade? The answer is painstakingly obvious in its simplicity. I'm human. I am not the superwoman I have created in my head. and I don't have to have it all figured out. And more importantly, I don't. All I can do is learn from each day and strive to move forward. But before I can do that, I have to accept my imperfection. Really? Technical difficulties? And more importantly, celebrate it. Because with everything else fades and all that's left is who I am at my core. And she's not perfect. And I am learning to love her most. That was not an easy thing to write, and as you can tell, reading through it even after a couple days is hard. And I know that some of you might really be struggling with hearing what I had to say. And it might hit closer to home than you wanted it to. And it might be kind of tough to hear. It might trigger something. And I want you to know that you're not alone. And if you need help, and if you are going through something right now, or if you heard what I just said and it rings a bell, and it resonates, like I said, really close, I really strongly suggest reaching out and asking for help. And an amazing place to start is twala.com. That's www.twloha.com. They have amazing resources, not to mention an amazing story. And if you need a place to start, that's the best. That's where I started. That's where my story changed. As much as I love the Buried Life guys and as amazing as they've been in my story, Twala is where it all started. So I hope that if you find this message and you feel that you need help, that you'll reach out for it, whether it be going on the website or if it's more serious, talking to a parent or talking to an adult that you trust. I've gone through a lot of things in my life and I've had to make a lot of choices. And the best and the hardest one that I ever made was asking for help. And if you need help in that, reach out to someone. I'm not a professional. I'm not a counselor. My story or my experience doesn't make me any better qualified than anyone else, but I am here to listen if you need it. And I am here to help you find support in adults or in an organization or a doctor, whatever you need. We're here for you, and I want to help support you, just like I've been given the amazing support that I have. And if you're seeing this and you see a friend in what I said, don't be afraid to say something. My friends saved my life. I hated them. Absolutely hated them. And told them we'd never be friends again, but without them I wouldn't be here. And that's not a fun little cliche to say. I mean it literally. I'd be gone. So thanks for listening. I hope that you found some hope or some little bit of shining light in what I had to say, and always remember that you're always welcome to reach out to me, and I'll always do what I can. So until next time, be nice to each other, be kind, and show love. Bye guys.